Welcome back. In this chapter, we're going to explore actually adjusting images, and we're going to focus on what the controls actually do and how you can use each control to actually make your images better. But let's just start with an overview of what we're actually trying to accomplish here. Anytime that we reach for a color grading control, there needs to be a reason for it. Not every image needs its contrast pumped up or its exposure adjusted. Those are things that you only adjust if you have a reason to. Let's take a look at an example or two. Taking a look at shot 6, I have our color transform on here. And let's just park it on a good frame, maybe something like that. And I'll bring this up full screen. Anytime that you look at an image while color grading, I think it's really helpful to ask the question, what don't I like about this? Might sound kind of negative, but it really goes along with the idea of if it's not broken, don't fix it. And what I like to do is just take note of things that maybe could be better on this image. Depending on the story and the feeling, this might be underexposed, but we are kind of in the shadowy parts of a forest. Even though we don't have, bright orange saturated skin, this might work totally fine for our story. So we always have to kind of think about things technically as well as in context. The other thing we might decide is maybe this is not saturated enough. That means the colors aren't bright enough. And again, that's really dependent on sort of the tone of the scene, the tone of the movie, how you want it to feel. If we want this to be kind of a happy scene and we don't want it to look like it's almost nighttime, it might be appropriate to really boost up the exposure and the saturation to really give this more of a normal level. It really depends on what we're going for. Another example might be shot 36. I'll just middle button mouse click to put our transform on there. Now again, we have a relatively well exposed shot. One thing, just looking at the shot by itself, it might take a little bit more contrast. Things just feel a little bit flat. Maybe this red and this blue could just be a little bit punchier. So those are things that we could fix. But a big major problem, something that we really do need to fix, is this is actually supposed to go in between this shot and this shot, which if we load our color transforms, you'll see we have these dark kind of nighttime looking shots. And then this one looks like it was shot in the middle of the day. And that's because it was. This was shot weeks and weeks later. We needed an insert shot and we couldn't shoot it at night. We had to shoot it in the day. So we tried our best to flag off the light as much as we could, but it still kind of looks like it's in the middle of the day. So that's something that we're going to have to fix in color. And a great example of an automatic to-do list once we hit this shot. But again, it's really important to look at this in context because this by itself, there aren't that many problems with it. It's just a problem when it comes to continuity in the story. Let's go to shot 9. I'll put our same color transform on here. And now again, it's a matter of kind of scrubbing through this and deciding if there's a problem or not. One problem might be that these shadows here are really, really dark. But again, in the context, this is supposed to be just about nighttime. And so it might be okay that we're losing some of the detail here in the trees because we can kind of keep it up here. And our main problem might be that this is just kind of too pinkish purple, and maybe we need to push it more towards the teal side of things to kind of get that moonlight sort of vibe. So really what we're going to be doing anytime that we look at an image is we're going to look at technically how the image would look best by itself, but also how does it fit into the story as a whole.